Last week was Mental Health Awareness Week in the United Kingdom, and this is really just a follow-up, continuing to just talk about anxiety and how it particularly affects lots of us who work in the construction industry. But it affects lots of us just generally, and sometimes we don't really talk honestly about how it affects us. But what can we do to get out of our heads? Because anxiety is in our heads, which creates very physical feelings, really strong bodily symptoms, physical symptoms that feel really threatening. One of the things we can do to make it just easier in managing it, how we manage, because stress is part of life, isn't it? Stress is part of all of life. But one of the things we can do is practicing and learning how to get out of our heads, because that's what's driving it. Anxious thoughts drives an emotion, a feeling, which comes back and we exhibit a behaviour. But how do we get out of our heads, and what can we do to support and actually just soothe those levels of anxiety? Well, one of them I've talked about often on some of the videos is about how we can tune in using our five senses, one of our five senses, and whether that is sight or whether it is sound, whether it's smell, whether it's touch. One of the five senses that whether it's taste. One of the five senses we can tune into and magnify up and really step out. I use sound and sight a lot because nobody knows you're doing it, and you can do it in any place. Nobody knows that you're actually listening harder, which enables you to get outside of your head. Now, I do it when I'm sawing a piece of wood, because I focus with my eyes on a piece of wood that I'm cutting, and I listen intently, really intently, to the sound of the saw going through the wood. So I bring all of my focus and my attention to the very thing I'm doing, rather than staying in my head with the thoughts that are causing me anxiety and stress. And then when I notice that I've gone back to those anxious thoughts, I remind myself to come out of my head, focus just on sawing, the sound, and what I can see. And it's amazing how, if you do that regularly, it supports getting out of your head, and it supports that level of anxiety. Another thing I do regularly is breathing techniques using the breath. And the breath is well known for supporting our well-being. Now you say that's obvious, isn't it? Because if you didn't breathe, you'd die. Lack of oxygen. But we can do more than just breathe without thinking. We can actually bring our attention to our breath and do certain breathing techniques which support creating soothing and dialing down those anxious feelings and sensations that we have in our body. I often do these while I'm driving. So I'm doing a breathing technique. I turn the radio off and I just breathe. And I bring my focus and attention to a breathing technique which genuinely works. Genuinely works. So what do? Well, I breathe in for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold my breath for a count of 4. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for a count of 8. Slow and steady. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in for a count of 4. 2, 3, 4. Hold my breath for a count of 4. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, slow and steady for a count of 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I just repeat. And it's amazing how that just dials it down. Just by a simple breathing technique, it dials it down. Now you can go and look up some of these, the benefits of breathing techniques. You can Google it. You'll find loads of information that will back up exactly what I'm saying. I'm not going to give you that on here. That'd be too long and too technical, but it genuinely works. So just following on from Mental Health Awareness Week and anxiety, just wanted to bring some more discussion and some more ways that we can support when we're doing our jobs, when we're going out in our day. It doesn't have to break in. We don't have to make special moments. We can just do it on the go, getting out of our head and just using our breath.